Hi, it's Caroline. Welcome to this week's Body Empowerment episode. Today I want to talk about redemption for a bajillion reasons, and I'm going to probably be all over the place talking about redemption, and that's totally cool. First of all, I want to thank my dear friend Lindsay Rosen, who inspired me to explore the content of this episode. She made an amazing point when she said, you know, Pesach is coming up. That's Passover, which is the Jewish holiday commemorating the ancient Israelites' liberation from slavery in ancient Egypt. And Lindsay and I are both Jewish. And she also was making the connection with my play Faith coming up this week, which is a one-woman play I've written about my experience with and recovery from an eating disorder. And she made the incredible connection that recovery is a redemption. There's this liberation quality to recovery that fits into and ties into the themes of Pesach. So thank you again, Lindsay, for inspiring me to explore all of these topics, and I wanted to put that out there before moving forward. Pesach, right? The holiday of redemption. We are not only commemorating our heritage as Jews, we are also considering that there is still suffering, still immense amount of injustice around the world, and so may all people be redeemed from their bondage, from their injustice, from their discrimination. This year in 2012, God, what a last few weeks and months it has been with injustice, with discrimination, the onslaught of murders around this country, Trayvon Martin, the list goes on of individuals that have been killed, unjust murder for their skin color, their religion, their ethnicity. I find it incomprehensible. And I also am deeply aware of the fact that I am white, right? I'm also Jewish, so 60 years ago, I would not have been considered white as a Jew in the United States. But in 2012, I am totally white. I benefit from white privilege. I grapple with white guilt and the white savior industrial complex. If you haven't read that Atlantic article by Teju Cole, I so encourage you to read it. It is unbelievable. And it's, so there are all these things I grapple with. I live in Brooklyn. I am responsible for gentrification just by nature of being a white artist. So in addition to mourning the losses of lives in the last several weeks, in addition to speaking out for justice and redemption for all, I'm also deeply aware of the role I play as a white person in this society. This Passover, I'm thinking about all these things. And I'm also simultaneously thinking about the redemption qualities of recovery, the liberation, it is so, the hindrances of an eating disorder, of depression, of mental illness, of addiction, it's mind-boggling when you experience the other side of recovery or stability, right? If you're dealing with a mental illness from which you cannot recover or remain, like an eating disorder you can recover from. If there's a mental illness you're experiencing that's going to be a lifelong struggle, finding a balance whereby you can engage with your life to its fullest. I mean, what a journey that is. Liberation, freedom, like how do we get there together? I obviously don't have all the answers, but as I've brought up here before, especially the interview I did with Sonia Renee Taylor months ago especially resonates now. There is trauma we all experience that we push onto others for so many parts of our identity, and skin color is one of them. And again, in the wake of all the recent murders, racism disempowers people's body, right? It is a body disempowerment. And so I feel very strongly that discussing race, talking about these issues, confronting the privileges we do and do not have, I feel strongly that those are issues of body empowerment, that those are important and crucial when we consider our own liberations and redemptions. I cannot even begin to fathom what it feels like to walk out of my home and fear for my life based on my skin tone. I've never experienced that. I have experienced fear based on being a woman at different moments and spaces in my life, absolutely. But as far as race goes, I don't know what that feels like. And I'm aware of that. And I hope we can all talk about this more, because we are disempowering each other's bodies the more we remain silent, the more we don't have these conversations. And so in honor of Passover, in honor of my Play Faith opening, may we have these conversations. It is in owning these realities, it is in overcoming shame, it is in overcoming guilt that we redeem ourselves, that we liberate ourselves, that we all find that redemption, that freedom, that liberation. And then, I mean, I don't even know what the world looks like then, right? But wouldn't it be unbelievable? So, redemption, recovery, yeah, it's all part of that. And one of the ways that we stop disempowering others and each other is by embracing our own redemption, our own recovery, our own self-love. There is trauma on so many levels: individual trauma, community trauma, identity trauma. Like entire groups of people and communities experience collective trauma and inherit that and pass that on generation to generation. There's one of my favorite professors from undergrad, Paul Hendrickson, wrote an incredible book called Sons of Mississippi, and it's all about inherited racism, and it's based off of a photograph from Time magazine right before James Meredith became the first black student to go to Ole Miss, University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. And it's an image of 6 or 7 white sheriffs from around Mississippi, essentially like holding like imaginary bats as if they're about to beat James Meredith. And what Hendrickson did was he went and he interviewed those sheriffs, their sons, their grandsons, and explored the way we inherit these disempowerments, these forms of injustice, these unjust values. So yeah, may we inherit love, may we inherit freedom, may we inherit liberation, may we be the end of the unjust genes coursing through our lives and our ancestors. And again, that's why I love Passover. It commemorates the heritage of liberation, of freedom, and it also acknowledges the spaces where that heritage doesn't exist. So yeah, redemption, discussion, conversation. Thank you.